legal and penalty systems. So we're changing our laws to have stronger penalties to reflect the priority that all Jamaicans place on public order and public safety and security. But it will look something like this. For capital murder, the penalty is death. If not applied, then life without parole.
That is it, brother. That is it.
For non-capital murder, the penalty will now be, our proposal, the penalty would now be 45 years to life, or rather, life imprisonment, and you must serve 45 years before consideration of parole.
Call all of the youth them in a wanna work. Call them and make them listen this.
There is no question that somewhere over these many years, murderers have gotten it into their minds that the penalty for murder is not the death penalty. They have gotten it into their minds that the penalty for murder is not life imprisonment. And that somehow with a good lawyer, they will be back out on the street to enjoy their life.
Say go.
Our penalty remains. If you take a life and you're convicted of such, your useful life should be taken.
On the spot news media, we got the latest news. We don't care about the views, we just representing right. Put local news internationally every night. On the spot, wave that Jamaican flag from left to right. Let's get it right, y'all know the type. We ain't dealing with the hype, we make it take flight.
Yeah, man, my viewers and subscribers, what go on. A blessed and wonderful Saturday morning to each and every person out there tuning into On The Spot News Media. Now, my peeps, I don't know how we do it over on this side each and every morning. We have to give thanks and praise to the Most High Creator for the preservation of life, because life is indeed the greatest. So in the morning, my peeps, I have a few stories to share with you, the regular members of Chan Public and also members of the diaspora. So please like the video, share the video, watch the entire vlog so you can get a full understanding and a better appreciation of everything we are going in Jamaica. So watch this now, my peeps, to the name Saturday the day when some of the ones and ones them out there traverse the church. So happy Sabbath to you all. But while it's doing so, please remember On The Spot News Media, its loyal viewers and subscribers in your immediate prayers. You definitely see how Jamaica run right and I will say you know for sure. So we need that now more than ever. So in the morning I'm a peep, so I can revisit a fatal knockings and clappings of an alleged innocent 14-year-old boy. But depending on who is speaking, some would say alleged innocent and some would say an alleged knockings and clappies. Yeah, man. He has since been identified as this person presently on your screen, 14-year-old Rasheem Wilson. There's a lot that has not been brought to the forefront. And this morning On The Spot News Media will most definitely be shedding some light into the personality of the little boy and also his entire family background, so we can draft conclusions as to what would have probably have taken place. So now we're going to hear from Prime Minister Andrew Holness as he also weighs in on this latest spate of violence and his utter, what I could say, surprise that a 14-year-old could be caught in a brazen knockings and clappings reported by the police and army personnel along Red Hills Road on Wednesday evening. He was addressing some students in Manchester at the Manchester High School on Friday. So we're going to hear from Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Listen.
Just a few days ago, I read a very sad report of a 14-year-old, like many 14-year-olds here. He was shot and killed by the police. And when I saw it, I immediately reached out to get an understanding of what exactly happened. How could a 14-year-old be killed in a shootout by the police? And I was very sad about it. I can't comment on the circumstances. But I will say this to you, especially to the 14-year-old boys who are here. In Jamaica, 90%, well, more than 90% of crimes committed, particularly serious crimes, murders and shooting, are by males. So we have a problem with resolving conflicts. We have a problem with violence, but we also have a problem with our young men in conflict and using violence and being the victims of violence. So if I were to speak to the nation about this problem, where is the best place to start? Where are our young males? Where should we be teaching people how to treat with conflict? Where should we be talking about peace? And I love it because I'm saying school, but Mr. Principal, your students are very smart. They're saying start in the home, start in the homes. Governments usually try not to get too involved in regulating households, even how they discipline children. But the social problems that we have become so challenging. They are now at crisis proportion, that the government has to be direct and instrumental in dealing with this problem of violence in a frontal way. We are going to have to incorporate the schools now to deliberately teach in the curriculum how to manage conflict. It is going to have to be a curriculum subject.
Now, my peeps, make we get back to the meat of the matter. Now, according to the Police Corporate Communications Unit, Rasheem was fatally taken out during a joint police military operation about 1:45 p.m. One 9mm pistol fitted with a magazine containing 14 live 9mm rounds was seized. Residents blocked Red Hills Road in protest, but this was quickly cleared by lawmen, stated the police. Now, before we say anything else, on your screen is Rasheem Wilson. Watch and listen.
Nobody care. Why you middle name?
Shante.
Nobody care and Britannic Shante Hill. You mad? And when you right, you want to go for my rifle for them, father. No. God leave it as anybody on Britannic, me I go for your rifle. I swear for my life.
Where's the father?
I swear for my life.
Well, my peeps, we all saw the protest. We all heard the utterances from his friends and family members. Also, the utterances of his grandmother that he lived with at the time of his passing. Now, one could easily say that it's just a kid and he was just saying whatsoever. He was just running his mouth with using certain words and not even understanding what he's saying because he was just having a jolly good time with his friends. But one can also say that the words from your mouth defies you. And as it relates to this young man, Rasheem Wilson, the scriptures spoke about a certain thing. The scriptures clearly states that the parents eat the sour grapes and the children's teeth are set on edge. What do I mean by this? Now, On the Spot News Media has received reliable information that this young man has a troubled past. Not just only by his doing, but also by the doing of his family members and the entire circle around him. Now, on that day, on Wednesday evening, he saw police and soldiers and ran. It is said that he had an illegal firearm in his hand. It is said that he began giving his mother trouble. Shortly after a knockings and clappings took place along Greendale Drive, where 3 men lost their lives. And to be more specific, 37 Greendale Drive, for those who remember that I covered that particular knockings and clappings along with other knockings and clappings in the general Akiwak community. Now, his story, as I stated, is one that is really troubling because as a young man, he is definitely surrounded by a lot of negative influences. Rasheem is originally from the big yard along Greendale Drive, that's 37 Greendale Drive, known as Belgium. His father also lost his life in a similar fashion along the said 100 lane. His grandfather and uncle was also taken out in a hail of bullets during the Akiwak and common gang violence flare-up. He also has an uncle that lost his life in early 2020 or 2021, somewhere thereabout. His granduncle is also the Don for Akiwak. And who is that Don that I'm making mention of? For those who is from that immediate surroundings would definitely be familiar with the name Stinky Brown. Now, interesting to note, Stinky Brown is most definitely well known for giving underage youths heavy machinery to fight the ongoing gang conflict between himself and rival gangs. And the fact that Stinky Brown is the Don who has an arsenal of weapons, it would be very easy for Rasheem to get any one of these weapons if he so desires. Hence the pictures on your screen. And it is really sad to know that this young man knows fully well what gang and gun violence has done to his family members, as he has lost many family members due to gun and gang violence, and has decided to walk a similar path and expected a different outcome. So when you saw the grandmother and other females from the 100 lane area protesting and hurling insults at the security forces and proclaiming his innocence, they are fully aware that the young man is surrounded by nothing but negativity and negative influences because of his own family members. You know, my peeps, I almost felt sorry for him when the news just broke. But I said, you know, the norm in Jamaica is when a known criminal element loses 3 points by the security forces, there is always a major flare-up, and women, especially women, are out in their numbers protesting that person's innocence. So let me do a little bit of digging. And I did that. And this is definitely what I found out. So age is definitely no longer a respecter for crime and violence. As young as 10 and 12 years old have been taken into gangs and introduced to violence by these criminal elements. So Jamaica and Jamaicans, let us not be too quick to say yea or nay because of the age of the person, because this is living proof that age is not a respecter of crime and criminality. Yeah, man. So anyway, make we continue. Now another update as it relates to previous vlogs done on the criminal organizations known as the Dark Side and genocide gangs. The knockings and clappings continues, and one more man end up losing 3 pints and another one hospitalized who was said to have lost his life whilst undergoing treatment. The two end up get knocked up and clapped up by the criminal elements. It occurred sometime around 3 a.m. along Gold Street in Kingston on Thursday, January 11th. The police report suggests that sometime around 3 a.m. unknown assailants gained entry to a house on Gold Street through the back fence and opened fire, hitting a lone occupant who was laying on his bed. It is said that the man was rushed to the hospital, but he was pronounced, you know what? And about 4 hours after, the police also stated that they were called again to the same Gold Street address, following reports of another knockings and clappings. The police arrived on the scene and a man was reportedly seen suffering from what appears to be some carnal wounds and then taken to the hospital where he underwent treatment. According to Deputy Superintendent of Police, that's DSP Ukal Francis of the Kingston Central Police Division, stated that the knockings and clappings, of course, is gang related. DSP Ukal Francis stated, and I quote, "What we are picking up, because in recent times there has been some tension down in this place. It is a result of gang feud that this is taking place. Our investigation is pointing to members of the gang who would have been displaced or defecting somehow. And so we continue our investigations surrounding a number of persons. Of course, our investigations is in its embryonic stage, but we will be rigorous in our pursuit of individuals who may be able to assist us in the investigation of these matters." Now, my peeps, make we get into the meat of the matter. Now, the criminal element who end up losing 3 pints has since been identified as Ronaldo Brown, but he's more popularly called Rasheem in the criminal underworld. As stated, him day in him house, man them jump fence, kick in him door and knock it and clap it pan him, leaving him lifeless, no longer among the land of the living. But what really take place now, that is basically puzzling a lot of people, is that an internal gang conflict is presently taking place within the ranks of the POW corner, or the POW side as they call it. Now POW split. So the man them come knock it and clap it pan Rasheem is his own friends. So that basically take place because of the split, where some of the knockis and clappis them a say brother dog from gully, and some of the knockis and clappis them a say shower man from Ada. Now the interesting thing about this, my peeps, is that Rasheem lost his father in a similar fashion in August of last year. And another interesting fact to note, one of my recent vlogs that I featured this criminal element presently on your screen, who I stated that is the Dan for POW corner, who is presently among you, the diaspora in America, is also the cousin of the now deceased Rasheem. So because that go on now, Ricky get Bringle. I met the man them know say, yo, a man have to get drop because him cousin lose him 3 pints. Yeah, man. So them basically ClapWeh Rasheem father, we name Ronald, and now Rasheem end up losing 3 pints. The man said, no, that can't go on. Smaddy have to lose back for them one. So the man them go make a step. And who and behold, who the man them find? The man them find the alleged person that opened the gate and let in the knockis and clappis them, we go ClapWeh Rasheem. So that person has since been identified as Chemo. So the man them knock it and clap it pan him, and as the DSP clearly stated, just a few hours after at the very same address along Gold Street, that knockings and clappings took place. So the man them go circle Chemo and fix him, but luckily for Chemo, he's still among the land of the living, hanging on by a thread over there in the Kingston Public Hospital. Now we have some whole heap of name we are call pan both knockings and clappings. We not go really call them man the name right now. But you definitely know so we are putting in some work to get everything together for bring it to you, the regular members of Chan Public and members of the diaspora, as this continuous gang war continues to wreak havoc in the lives of the regular members of Chan Public in the General Kingston Central Police Division. Yeah, man. So anyway, my peeps, remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned to On The Spot News Media as I continue to bring you fresh news and updates in subsequent newscast. On The Spot News Media. Yeah, man.